Hello all. Good evening to 4S1 to 4S6 boys. Okay, so while waiting for the others to join us, so please write down once you're here, please write your name as attendance. Okay, so as an announcement to everyone, next, okay, because tomorrow the Form 5 and the Form 6 students will be going back to the school, and the lesson, okay, so for every day, the school will dismiss at 2 p.m. which is later than the previous one, because last time the school dismissed at 1:40 for both Form 4 and Form 5 students. But now, according to the new timetable due to the MCO, and the time for dismissal is extended to 2 p.m. for Form 5 and Form 6. So I need to take time to rush back from the school to my house for the online lesson. Okay, so in case I'm late for the lesson on that day, for example, next Tuesday, so please wait. Okay, I try my best to start the lesson at 3 p.m. sharp. Okay, so hurry up, boys. Boys, come on. Hey, how come got students from other classes, Form 5 classes, join the class? Okay, call Wen Yang. Hey, you are Form 5, why now you are here? Okay, so let's check the attendance. Okay, so start from Jia Jun. Hello, welcome. Jian Hao, Re Rong, Shao Chen, Qin King. Hello, Jian Jun, Xi Jian, Xin Kai, Jun Kei, Lai Ziyang, Jun Wei, Hong Zhen Kai. Hey, Ko Wen Yang. This one is a Form 5 senior. Okay, now. Van Hing Yi Kang, Chan Zihong, Chong Wing Shan, Calvin Ng, Rong Sheng, Yao Ming. Okay, so boys, for those who take part in the science context, which is the stay-at-home COVID-19 stay-at-home video making competition. So the due date to send your video, okay, for the competition is next Wednesday, okay, which is the 1st of July. So by this weekend, hopefully this Saturday and Sunday, please get ready, okay, with your video and send to me together with your particulars for those who wish to take part. So I know there are some students from 4S1. I think there are 5 students that are interested to take part in this competition, COVID-19 stay at home. Okay, let's see who is still here. Who are here? Okay, Mei Yongping, okay, Bun Shen and Anthony Ng from 4S6. Okay, so shall we start the lesson right now? So for today's lesson, okay, last lesson we started. I have introduced the human digestive system. I'm very sure that you know about this, the digestion, as you studied when you were in Form 1, Form 2, Form 3. But for today's lesson, it's a bit new to you because we'll focus on another part of the digestive system, which is the absorption, assimilation, and defecation. Okay, so shall we start now? Okay. So once again, for those who really are interested to take part in the video making competition, please submit your video by this weekend, which means Saturday, Sunday can be accepted. Okay, so please send to me your video saved in Google Drive. Send me the link, and then together with your particulars. Okay, so I will start now. Okay, so last lesson, I asked students from 4S1 and 4S6 to customize your own pizza, and your friend order a thick crust pizza with cheese as a topping, pineapple, shredded mushroom, and myself, because I like chicken breast. Okay, so this is the menu of the day. So last lesson, we talked about the digestion. After eating, okay, the pizza, we chewed the pizza. Okay, this is the physical digestion. And after physical digestion, we'll proceed with the chemical digestion. Okay, so I will take 1 to 2 minutes to briefly revise what we studied in the previous lesson. Okay, so once after the food is chewed, so the substance now no longer the food, but is known as the bolus. So the bolus will be swallowed into the esophagus, and the bolus will move along the esophagus through a process known as peristalsis. Peristalsis. Okay, boys. So please repeat this term, peristalsis, which is the rhythmic movement, okay, rhythmic relaxation and contraction of the smooth muscle along the esophagus. So now the food no longer called as food, but we call this as a bolus. Okay, wait a while. I'm going to change the color of the pointer to black color so that it can be easily seen. Okay, so now the food no longer is called the food, is this is known as the bolus. So the bolus will move along the esophagus and then enter the stomach, B-O-L-U-S. Okay, so next one. Now, once the bolus enter the stomach, okay, so now pepsin will play its role to hydrolyze protein into polypeptide. So now the substance in the stomach no longer bolus, not bolus, but we give it another name, which is the chyme. So C-H-Y-M-E, chyme. So the chyme now moves from the stomach through the small intestine when the sphincter muscle relax. Okay. So, sorry, before moving to the next part, okay, so we know that there are 4 sites of digestion, 4 places. The first one, which is the mouth or oral cavity, followed by the stomach as the site of digestion. Now, okay, so when the chyme moves from the stomach to the small intestine, so small intestine can be divided into 3 portions, the duodenum, the jejunum, and then to the ileum. Okay, and digestion takes place at these 2 places, duodenum and ileum. So remember, boys, so there are 4 sites of digestion for chemical digestion. The first one, which is the mouth, second, stomach, third, duodenum, and lastly is the ileum. So now, once the food is digested, they become the digested nutrients. Digested nutrients. And these nutrients are small enough to be absorbed by our body. So which part of the body is involved in the digestion of is involved in the absorption of this food, which is the ileum. Okay, so at the ileum is the site of absorption. Okay, ileum is a site of absorption. So today's lesson we focus on absorption. Okay, so as we know that absorption takes place in the ileum. So now I cut ileum. Okay, if you wish to know how the small intestine looks like, okay, if we are now in the physical classroom, for sure, I will bring the small intestine, not my small intestine, okay. So I bring the small intestine. Okay, I will buy from the market of some animals. Say for example, I take the cow, okay, small intestine, and I will show you. So if we cut the small intestine, okay, and the inner lining, okay, consists of the epithelial cells, and this this inner lining will form the finger-like projection. Okay, you can see this diagram. Okay, so the finger-like projection, that's it. This is the epithelial cell. Okay, I circle it, epithelial cell. And now the epithelial cells forms the finger-like projection, which is like that. It looks like your finger-like projection. And this finger-like projection is known as the villus. So villus is the singular. So one villus, many villi. One villus, many villi. So in this villi, okay, why there is a presence of finger-like projection or this villus? Okay, let's say if the epithelial cell is just a smooth surface, okay, we compare. Okay, so this is situation 1. The first one, if let's say if the inner lining of the intestine is just one smooth layer of epithelial cell. Another condition with this villus, what is the difference? Okay, because of the presence of villus, finger-like projection, it can increase, it provide a large total surface area for absorption of digested food. Okay, so remember, increase the total surface area for absorption of the digested nutrients. Okay, so let's see. how a villus looks like. So now I will move to another diagram. Okay, now if this small intestine or the ileum, I cut in different way. The first one, which is the cross section. Okay, in chapter 1, we studied about cross section and longitudinal section. Okay, so let's say this is the small intestine. Can you see? Small intestine. Okay, if I cut in this way, this is a cross section. Cross section. And how about longitudinal section? Longitudinal section, I turn the intestine into a vertical. Okay, and then I cut in this way. This is a longitudinal section. This is cross section, and this is longitudinal section. Okay, so for cross section, you can see these are the villus. Okay, these are the villus. There are many villi. Okay, and this is the lumen. This is known as the lumen. Okay, so now we refer to the longitudinal section. Longitudinal section. So this whole structure, which is the villus. So refer to my writing. Okay, I'm writing on the slide. Okay, I'm using the black ink. So please focus. This is the villus, and then beneath the villus, the villus is the villus contains epithelial cells. One layer of epithelial cells, and beneath the epithelial cells, you can see there are network of blood capillaries. Okay, so now I'll focus on one single villus. Actually, in the inner lining of the small intestine contains numerous villi. And now I just focus on one villus. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so the villus is contained. Okay, a villus consists of one layer of epithelial cells. Okay, and beneath these epithelial cells, there are network of blood capillary and lacteal. So for these epithelial cells, okay, boys, please jot down in your long book. Okay, so get rid of your long book. So in your textbook, it's written epithelial cells. Okay, so now I give you another name. So for the epithelial cells in the small intestine, there is another name, which is known as the enterocytes. Enterocytes. Okay, write down the name, enterocytes. Okay, so structural adaptation, which means how the small intestine is adapted to the absorption of the digested nutrients. Okay, the first one, number 1. So there is one layer of epithelial cells in the villus. The villus consists of one layer of epithelial cells or enterocyte. So why one layer? So because this is thin. Okay, so thin is to increase the rate of absorption, to increase the rate of rate of absorption of the digested nutrients. It consists of one layer of epithelial cells. Okay, so next one, which is it consists of blood capillary, network of blood capillary. So the function of blood capillary, okay, so boys, can you see the black color writing? If you feel that this black color writing is not very obvious, okay, please let me know. I will change the color. Okay, I will change the color. So at the moment, I'm using the black color. So please focus on the writing. Okay, I think it's okay. Okay, so for the blood capillary, its function is to transport water-soluble nutrients. Okay, whereas the lacteal, okay, this part, the middle part, the lacteal, its function, number 3, this is the structural adaptation. Lacteal is to transport fat-soluble nutrients. So by referring to the structure of one single villus, okay, it consists of one layer of epithelial cells, also known as the enterocytes, to increase the rate of absorption because of one layer is thin enough. Okay, for blood capillary, transport water-soluble nutrients, and the lacteal transport fat-soluble nutrients. So there are three adaptations at the moment. So next one, for each villus, it can be finely divided into many microvilli. Okay, so boys, let's see this diagram. So I circle, this is a villus. And on each villus, there are many microvilli. These are the becomes more finely divided microvilli. Okay, so for structural adaptation number 4, okay, just now I've mentioned for each villus, it consists of one layer of epithelial cells to increase the rate of absorption. The second, for each villus, it consists of a network of blood capillary for the transport of water-soluble nutrients, and each villus, each villus contains lacteal for the transport of fat-soluble nutrients. And last one, for each villus, it consists of numerous, okay, I write down here, numerous microvilli. So these numerous microvilli that provide, because of many, provide large surface area for absorption. Okay, provide large surface area for absorption. So boys, now for this surface, because of many microvilli, so this surface, there is another name for the surface of the inner lining of the small intestine, and it is given another name. Okay, I changed the color because when I look at the screen, it's not very obvious by using the black color. So I try to use white color. I think this is better, or yellow color. Sorry, please wait a while. Okay, never mind. Okay, because I cannot change my color right now. That is a technical problem. Can. Sorry, wait a while. I wish to change to yellow color. Okay, so the surface, okay, of the inner lining of the small intestine, there is another name because of this many microvilli, just like the hair. Okay, so it is given a name known as the brush border. Brush border. So the brush border here means, brush border. BORDER, brush border. So the brush border here is referred to the surface of the inner lining of the small intestine because of many microvilli. Okay, so there are 4 structural adaptations. I repeat, for each villus consists of one layer of epithelial cell to increase the rate of absorption or to accelerate the absorption of digested nutrients. For a second, okay, each villus contains blood capillary for the transport of water-soluble nutrients. And third adaptation is each villus contains lacteal, L-A-C-T-E-A-L, lacteal for the transport of fat-soluble nutrients. And this is the fourth one. Each villus contains numerous microvilli to provide large total surface area for absorption. So now this surface is known as the brush border. Why call this a brush border? Okay, so this is a brush for brushing our teeth. Okay, now you see the surface of the inner lining of the small intestine is just like our brush for brushing teeth. So this is a brush border. Brush border. Can you see it? Okay. Now I move to another part. Okay, so let's see how digested nutrients are absorbed in the small intestine or the ileum. Okay, so let's focus on the right hand side. There is a villus, okay, which contains the epithelial cell or the enterocytes. Okay, and then the network of capillary as well as the lacteal. So now I enlarge this diagram just with this one layer of epithelial cell, okay, without the capillary and the lacteal. Okay, so now for the absorption, for this slide, I'm going to explain the absorption of water soluble nutrients. Okay, so this part only for water soluble nutrients. Okay, so start with fructose. Okay, so for fructose, it diffuses across the epithelial cell. Okay, epithelial cells of the ileum. Okay, the first one, diffuse across the epithelial cell. Okay, so by facilitated diffusion, so I use short form instead of using the long term, because in form chapter 3 you already studied the terms. This is the facilitated diffusion. Okay, it's a kind of passive transport. Okay, so fructose start with F, so facilitated diffusion F. So after that I have glucose, galactose, and amino acids. Okay, so boys. So for this absorption, okay, only those monosaccharides are absorbed by the epithelial cell of the small intestines. Okay, for disaccharides, for example, lactose, because it is a disaccharide, it is a large molecule, it cannot be diffused across the epithelial cells. Okay, and some more. Sucrose, maltose, because they are disaccharides. So only monosaccharides, only monosaccharides are able to diffuse across the epithelial cells. Okay, as well as the amino acid, which is the end product of the digestion of protein. So for first group, fructose diffuse across the epithelial cells by facilitated diffusion. So whereas for glucose, galactose, amino acid, so I call this as GGAA. So why GGAA? Okay, glucose G, galactose G, amino acid AA. So GGAA, glucose, galactose, amino acids. So diffuse across the epithelial cells of the villus by active transport. So which means energy or ATP is needed for the transport of glucose, galactose, and amino acid across the epithelial cell of the villus by active transport. Okay, so GGAA by active transport. So next one is water. Okay, so water diffuse across the epithelial cell, okay, by osmosis. Okay, and last one, which is the vitamins B and C. So for vitamins B and C, they are the water-soluble vitamins. Water-soluble vitamins. So first, the vitamin B and C, they are dissolved in water first. After that, okay, they dissolve in water first. After that, they move across the epithelial cell by simple diffusion. By simple diffusion. So for the absorption of water-soluble nutrients involves 4 types of transport. FD, facilitated diffusion. AT, active transport. Okay, and then we have osmosis and simple diffusion. Okay, so boys, since vitamin B and C, they are water soluble. They can be dissolved in water. Okay, so let's say if we take a lot of vitamin B and C, they cannot be stored in our body, and vitamin B and C will be excreted through our urine. So which means, if you ask me which vitamins are very crucial, very important to us, I would like to say vitamin B and C, because it can be lost through the urination. Okay, for the others one, fat soluble vitamins, they can be stored in our body. So later I will tell you more about the storage of vitamin A, D, E, K. So B and C cannot be stored, and therefore the excess vitamin B and C will be excreted through our urine. Okay, so now once they move across the epithelial cell of the villus, okay, so all of these water soluble nutrients, they will move into the blood capillary that is beneath the epithelial cell. So all of these are fructose, okay, will enter the blood capillary, and then the GGAA, glucose, galactose, amino acid moved into the blood capillary. Same goes to the water as well as the vitamin B and C. And then these water soluble nutrients will be transported in the bloodstream. Okay, so now how about the fat soluble nutrients? So for this part, which is the fat soluble absorption of fat soluble nutrients. Absorption of fat soluble nutrients. So this part is for fat soluble nutrients. Okay, so fat soluble nutrients here include the fatty acids and glycerol, as well as the vitamins A, D, E, K. So first, I will describe the absorption of fatty acid and glycerol. Okay, so for fatty acid and glycerol, both of them, okay, diffuse across the epithelial cell of the villus by the same method, which is simple diffusion. Okay, simple diffusion. Okay, so boys, for simple diffusion, this is just a revision for you all. Simple diffusion, which is the movement of substances across the plasma membrane. So what type of substances? Okay, the first one, small molecules, for example, water, carbon dioxide, okay, carbon dioxide and oxygen. And then for fat soluble substances, fatty acids, glycerols, vitamin A, D, E, K, by simple diffusion through the phospholipid bilayer, without involving the transport proteins. Okay, so fatty acid, both fatty acid and glycerol, they've diffused across the epithelial cell of the villus through simple diffusion. So once they enter, they diffuse into the epithelial cells. So both fatty acid and glycerol, they recombine, okay, to form lipid. Can you see this? Lipid, to form lipid droplet. Okay, so please focus on the slide. That is a lipid. Okay, I have written lipid. So fatty acid, glycerol, okay, they recombine to form lipid in the epithelial cell. I need to change the color. Circle it. Okay, lipid lipid is okay. Cannot see. Change to another color, black color. Okay, so now fatty acid, glycerol recombine to form lipid droplet. So which means in our blood, okay, the fat actually is in the form of lipid. It's not in the form of fatty acid or glycerol. Okay, so when we go for the blood test, okay, for the result, for the report, actually, you will test for the triglycerides percentage or the lipid percentage instead of glycerol and fatty acid. Okay, so I repeat, fatty acid and glycerol will be absorbed, okay, or will be diffused across the epithelial cells by diffusion, simple diffusion. But within or inside the epithelial cells, fatty acid and glycerol will recombine or condense to form lipid. Okay, so now how about vitamin A, D, E, K? Similar to fatty acid and glycerol, so they diffuse across the epithelial cell by same simple diffusion. Okay, so next, so all of these substances, the lipid droplet, and these vitamins A, D, E, K, ADEK, ADEK will be absorbed into the lacteal, will move into the lacteal. And the function of lacteal is for the transport of fat-soluble nutrients. Okay, so before moving to the next slide, okay, I need to make a short summary regarding to what I told you previously regarding to absorption. So absorption, it can be grouped into two classes, okay, two groups. The first one, which is the absorption of water-soluble nutrients. Okay, another one, which is the absorption of fat-soluble nutrients. So for absorption of water-soluble nutrients, okay, include fructose, okay, galactose, glucose, amino acids, water, and vitamin B and C. So they diffuse across the epithelial cells of the villus and then move into the blood capillary. So the second part of absorption, which is the absorption of fat-soluble nutrients, which involve the fatty acids and glycerols. So both fatty and acid and glycerol, they diffuse across the epithelial cells by simple diffusion, and then they recombine to form lipid droplets. Okay, and vitamins A, D, E, K, same, they move across the epithelial cells of the villus through simple diffusion, and then these vitamins, together with the lipid droplets, move into the lacteal and will be transported throughout the body. Okay, so next part we go to the assimilation. So, but before moving to the assimilation, now I have a question for you. That is a quiz for you. So please get ready, everyone. If you are here, I will call your name to answer the question. Make sure you are here. Come on. For those who bonding class, okay, you go to toilet, okay, go for playing games, come back, I will ask question. Once you are not here, once I have mentioned your name, but you are not here, then consider as bonding class. Okay, so now I'm going to call upon your name to answer the questions. Okay, so see who are here. Get ready, I'm calling you to answer the question. Okay, let's check. I will call your name to answer the question randomly. Today is 23 of June, 23. So 2 times 3, number 6. So see who is the number 6. Give your name in the attendance list. Number 1 is Lu Jiajun. Number 2, Lam Jianhao. Number 3, Xia Rong. Number 4, Chong Shaoqian. Number 5, Lam Qinking. Number 6, Kam Jianjun. Kam Jianjun, are you here? Kam Jianjun. If you are here, say, yes, I am here. Type, I am here. Okay, so please refer to your textbook. Okay, now please take out your textbook, page 152. Page 152. Okay, textbook, page 152. Formative practice 9.2. Okay, Kam Jianjun, are you? Yes. Okay, question number 1. Name the main structure for the absorption of digested food. The main structure of absorption of digested food. So in the ileum, there are many finger-like projection. What is the name of this finger-like projection? Please give me the answer. Number 1, finger-like projection. Finger-like projection. What is the name of the structure of the finger-like projection for absorption of digested food? Kam Jianjun, please give me your answer. Okay, and then at the same time, please answer question number 2. Okay, question number 2, I reserve this for 4S6 student. 4S6 student. Yes, very good. Okay, Jianjun, Kam Jianjun, your answer is the main structure for absorption of food. Okay, so for 4S1 and 4S6, answer is, well, you are right, so big for you lah. Villus, one villus, many villi. Okay, one villus, many villi. So go home, not go home, stay at home and remember this name, villus or villi. Okay, next one, I will call 4S6 students. To answer the question. 4 S6. Okay, the last one who joined the lesson. Lam Rejao. Lam Rejao. Lam Rejao, are you here? Lam Rejao. Please answer question number 2. Lam Rejao. Name the structure. If you are here, type yes. Lam Rejao. Lam Rejao. Name the structure in the villus involved in the transporting of the following nutrients: amino acids and vitamin A and E. So A, amino acid, is the water-soluble nutrients. So once after amino acid diffuse across the epithelial cells, so it will be absorbed by which part of the villus for transport? And same goes to the vitamins A and E. Lam Rejao, are you here? If you are here, type yes. You see? Purposely join the class, just type your name, oh, I'm here. But at the end, disappear already. Lam Rejao, Lam Rejao, are you here? Lam Rejao. If Lam Rejao not here, so I will open to ask other students to answer the question. Anthony Ng, Anthony Ng, Anthony Ng, 4S6, Anthony Ng. Anthony Ng, are you here, Anthony? Question number 2. Yes, number 2 was the answer. Amino acids will be transported by which part of the villus? And vitamins A and E. For amino acid, one is water-soluble nutrients. Vitamins A and E is fat-soluble nutrients. So for part A, amino acid is transported by which part of the villus? Okay, so type your answer in the chat box. And same goes to part B. For the rest, please find the answer. Very easy, ma. Just now I have explained. So I'm very sure you know the answer. So for amino acids, hello, Mr. Anthony Ng, what's your answer? I'm waiting for you. Okay, so for question number 3, so we discussed together, explain the adaptations of small intestine. Adaptations. Okay, so adaptation here means the structural adaptations of small intestine to increase the surface area for absorption of nutrients. Okay, so first of all, okay, so your answer for the inner lining of the small intestine consists of many villi. Okay, so increase the surface area for absorption. And then in each villi, there are numerous microvilli to increase the surface area for absorption. Hey, Anthony Ng, I'm waiting for your answer. It's very easy. Okay, so beneath the epithelial cells, there are 2 parts. Okay, so for amino acids, is transported by what? Which part? Hey, everyone is waiting for your answer. Don't waste the time. Okay, come on. Our time is very precious, you know. Later, everyone, the others want to go for other classes. So faster, Anthony, I'm waiting for your answer. Okay, so number 3, I already give you the answer. Structural adaptations to increase the surface area. Okay, next one, question number 4. Let's see together. Page 150. 150. Formative practice 9.1. Okay, number 4. Explain how the following substances can be transported across the plasma membrane. Okay, so for glucose, galactose, and amino acid, these are all the water-soluble nutrients. So GGAA, galactose, glucose, and then amino acids, GGAA, is by what method? Okay, so boys, by what transport? Please give me the name. And fatty acids and glycerol by what? Okay, so now get the answer. I give you 1 minute. 1 minute. So after 1 minute, please tell me the answer for 4A and B. By what transport? By what transport? Anthony, hey, actually this question number 2, just a simple answer. It's not the long sentence. Very simple. Anthony. Okay, I give you 1 minute to find the answer for question number 4. Okay, so we take a 1 minute break. At the same time, I'm waiting for Anthony Ng for the answer. Hello, Anthony. Okay, so the rest, please find the answer for question number 4. Explain how the following substances can be transported across the plasma membrane. Okay, so for part A, glucose, galactose, and amino acids, GGAA, by what transport, by what movement? Okay, and then fatty acids and glycerol, how? So don't just wait for the answer, you must try. Okay, so because you stay at home for a few months, don't you become a very bad habit, become very lazy to find the answer. Just sit and wait for the answer, wait for the homework. Sometimes you need to take initiation to learn. Okay, so this is independent learning. No need to depend on the teachers to give you the homework. Okay, so I do not want to wait for you, Anthony. Okay, so for the rest, okay, I just give you the answer. For amino acids in the villus, it consists of one layer of epithelial cells. Okay, as amino acids is a water-soluble nutrients, so which means the blood capillary is responsible for the transport of amino acid. Okay, whereas for like vitamins A and vitamins E, so they are transported by the lacteal. Okay, Anthony, now I give you the answer. Can you please say, yes, I got it? Anthony, if you saw the answer, if you read the answer given by me, can you please give me some response? Yes, sir, I got it. If you cannot find the answer, just let me know. Don't just keep quiet. Okay, if you keep quiet here, everyone is waiting for your answer. Okay, so I hope you can understand, because now we are not in a physical classroom. Okay, if you cannot get the answer, okay, at least I can see your response. Okay, I can see your facial expression. Oh, I don't know to get the answer. But now in online, I can't see your face. If you can't get the answer, at least you type there, sir, sorry, I cannot answer. I can't get the answer. So we will not wait for you. So hopefully, boys, in the next lesson, if I give you one answer, you don't just leave here. Just like last week, okay, I asked Ziyang one question, but at the end, no response at all. Okay, and same goes to 4SS Anthony. So Anthony, now I give you the answer. Blood capillary and lacteal. Blood capillary and lacteal. Can you, if you got the answer, can you please type in the chat box, sir, I got the answer. Thank you very much. Okay, type, or else I just assume that you are bonding class. Okay, so now we go to question number 4. Okay, without further ado, we go to the question number 4. Explain how the following substances can be transported across the plasma membrane. Okay, so for glucose, galactose, and amino acid is by active transport. Okay, by active transport, move across the epithelial cell of the villus, and then enter or move into the blood capillary. Okay, so for fatty acids and glycerol, okay, so they diffuse across the epithelial cell by simple diffusion. By simple diffusion, and then both fatty acids and glycerol, they recombine. They recombine to form lipid droplets. And then lipid droplets are absorbed into the lacteal for transport of this substance. Okay, so now I will move to another part, okay, which is the assimilation. After absorption, then I move to assimilation. Anthony, may I know, are you still here? Anthony Ng. Okay, if you can't get the answer, if you see if you saw my answer, I hope you can give me a response, sir. Okay, I got the answer. Thank you very much. Or maybe he's having network issues. Hopefully, okay. When I call your name, you can give me yes. When I wait for the answer, there's no answer. Okay, so never mind. So we go back to another part, which is the assimilation. So Stephen Lai, you be the next one. Since your network is so stable, Stephen Lai, your network at your house is so stable. So next question would be your turn. Thank you, Anthony, for your response. So with this response, we don't need to much. We need to waste the time of everyone. Okay, thank you very much. I hope you can understand the situation right now. Okay, so don't just keep quiet there. I do not know whether you can learn, okay, it from me or not. Okay, if you can get the answer, which means okay, you learn something. If you cannot learn, if you cannot give me the answer, at least I will repeat. Okay, yeah. So thank you very much thank you very much for give me the response. Okay, thank you, Anthony. And since Stephen Lai, your line is so stable, right? So I will ask you the question for the next question. Okay, next part is the assimilation. So assimilation, okay, after absorption, okay, we move to the assimilation, which is the third stage, okay, in the human digestive system. So for assimilation, its meaning is the nutrients, the absorbed nutrients, are used to form complex compounds or structural components. So nutrients are used to form, sorry, I changed the color. Okay, nutrients are used to form complex compounds. Okay. Actually, digestion and assimilation is totally different. Digestion, which means from a large complex molecules, is broken down into small, simple, soluble substances, so it can be absorbed easily by the small intestine. And assimilation is from the small, simple, soluble molecules form a complex compound, okay, or structural components. Okay, in Chinese, okay, in Mandarin, assimilation means here means 同化, okay, not the 同花 sing by Guang Liang, it's not the song. 同化 means becomes the part of your body. The nutrients absorbed by the small intestine become the parts of your body. So since it becomes a part of your body, so this is known as the structural components, becomes your structure from small to become big. So this is known as the assimilation. So assimilation, this takes place in the liver as well as body cell. So later, I will describe the assimilation in the liver, the first one, and the assimilation in the body cells. Okay, so first of all, these absorbed nutrients before assimilated, okay, these absorbed nutrients must be transported, okay, absorbed nutrients must be transported to the liver and body cell first for assimilation. Okay, and this transport involves two systems. So two systems are involved in transport of the absorbed nutrients. So the first system, which is the blood circulatory system, okay, and then the second one, which is the lymphatic system. Both systems involved in the transport of absorbed nutrients to the liver as well as the body cells for assimilation. So assimilation here is referred to the process of using the nutrients to form complex compounds or the structural components, which becomes part of your body. Okay, so we know that what is the importance of having proteins? So having proteins in our daily diet, in our meal, is for muscle formation, okay, to build muscle. Okay, so the protein will be hydrolyzed to, okay, the protein contains in the meat, for example, the chicken breast, okay, will be hydrolyzed to become polypeptide. And then from the polypeptide to peptide, from peptide to amino acid. So from small to big. So now the amino acid is used to synthesize your muscle from small to big. Okay, so this is assimilation, becomes parts of your body. Okay, next one. So for transport of these absorbed nutrients to the liver as well as to the body cells, okay, involve the blood circulatory system and the lymphatic system. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about the transport of these nutrients. Okay, so first, in terms of the transport of water soluble nutrients. Okay, so the water soluble nutrients here include, okay, the glucose, amino acids, water together with the water soluble vitamins, for example, vitamin B and C. Okay, so these water soluble nutrients will be transported, okay, from the small intestine, which means the ileum, to the liver, okay, through a blood vessel. And this blood vessel is known as the hepatic portal vein. Hepatic portal vein. Okay, initially, just now I talked about the absorption. Okay, so for water-soluble nutrients, they move across the epithelial cells of the villus, okay, and then they will move into the blood capillary. So from the blood capillary, these water-soluble nutrients will be transported to the liver through a blood vessel known as the hepatic portal vein. Okay, so boys, in biology, hepa here is referred to liver. So in biology, in medicine, when you see this term hepa, so automatically it is related to liver. Okay, so all of these substances, okay, water soluble nutrients will be transported to the liver for assimilation. Okay, so how about the fat soluble nutrients? So for the fat soluble nutrients, it will be absorbed by the lacteal. So the first one is lacteal. Okay, and then the lacteal will merge, will combine to form a larger vessel. Okay, so many lacteals will combine to form lymphatic vessel. Lymphatic vessel. So this lymphatic vessel is the vessel in the lymphatic system. Okay, just now when I introduced the transport of absorbed nutrients involves two systems. The first one, which is the blood circulatory system, and the second one, which is the lymphatic system. So which means the function of lymphatic system is to transport fat soluble nutrients. Okay, so I repeat, the lacteal will combine to form the lymphatic vessel. So number one, this is the lacteal. Next, combine to form the lymphatic vessel. So next one, the lymphatic vessel contains lymph. Okay, we see this one, lymph. So the function of lymph is to carry fat soluble nutrients. Okay, the function of lymph is to carry fat soluble nutrients. So the lymph will be transported along the lymphatic vessel, and then, okay, in the next chapter, okay, lymphatic system. Okay, I repeat, the lacteal combine to form lymphatic vessel. So the lymphatic vessel contains lymph, L-Y-M-P-H, and this lymph carry fat soluble nutrients. Okay, so the lymph will be transported from the lymphatic vessel, okay, number two, to the thoracic duct, and then from the thoracic duct to number four, the left subclavian vein. Okay, subclavian here means the shoulder, which means this vein is at your left side. Okay, this is your left hand, left side of your shoulder. Okay, so there is a vein known as a left subclavian vein. So this left okay, so the lymph will be transported to the thoracic duct, and then this content, the lymph will be flow into the left subclavian vein, and then from the left subclavian vein, the fat soluble nutrients will enter the blood circulatory system. Okay, so this one is a bit complicated, so I will explain once again. So please listen carefully. Okay, so for the fat-soluble nutrients, it will be absorbed into the lacteal. Okay, into the lacteal. So number one is the lacteal. Lacteal will combine to form many lacteals combine to form lymphatic vessel. So this lymphatic vessel carries lymph. The lymph contains fat-soluble nutrients. Okay, so the lymph will flow, flow in the lymphatic system, and then finally to the thoracic duct, which means the number three, thoracic duct. From the thoracic duct, the fat-soluble nutrients flow into part 4, left subclavian vein. So when we see this term vein, which means the blood vessel, which means the part of the blood circulatory system. Okay, so now the fat-soluble nutrients flow from the subclavian vein into the blood circulatory system. Okay, so this is the transport of fat-soluble nutrients. Okay, next one. You go to the assimilation. So assimilation takes place in the liver. Okay, so I will divide into the assimilation of glucose and assimilation of amino acids. Okay, so please wait a while. I need to change the color of the ink to what color. Okay, so the first one, which is the assimilation. I think black color is better. Okay, so please recall back what I taught you just now, absorptions. Okay, so the first one, for assimilation in the liver, it involves the assimilation, which means from small molecules become large molecule. Okay, so which is the assimilation of glucose, the first one. And then the assimilation of amino acids. So I use short form lah. AA stands for amino acids. Okay, so for assimilation of glucose, the first one. Okay, first, glucose is used for cellular respiration in the liver. So in chapter 5, we studied about the cellular respiration, whereby the glucose, which is the main substrate, main reactant. So glucose is used for cellular respiration in the liver. Okay, next one. If glucose, excess glucose, if there is excess glucose, if there is in excess glucose, so this glucose will be converted to glycogen. So boys, glycogen, which is a kind of polysaccharide. Okay, glucose is mono, glycogen is poly. So from small to big, this is assimilation. Okay, but the condition is when there is excess glucose 多出来. Okay, so the excess glucose will be converted to glycogen and then store in the liver. Store in the liver. So the function of liver is for storage of glycogen. But however, if the storage of the glycogen in the liver becomes maximum, okay, condition, if becomes maximum, so this glycogen will be converted into fat, number 4. Okay, so for assimilation of glucose, so it can be divided into 4 parts. Okay, the first one, glucose is used for cellular respiration in the liver. Second, excess glucose is converted to glycogen. The condition is excess glucose. So this glucose is then stored in the liver. When the storage of glycogen in the liver becomes maximum, So this glycogen will be converted to fat. So 4 stages. Okay, next one, which is the assimilation of amino acids. Okay, so function of amino acids is used for synthesis. Okay, now I use okay, same as glucose. There are 4 points here. Assimilation of amino acids. The first one, number 1. Amino acids is used to synthesize plasma protein. It's used to make plasma protein. Okay, so examples of plasma protein. Okay, actually we'll study this in the next few chapters. I'll give you some examples first. Okay, so examples of plasma protein, which means protein in the blood plasma. Protein in the blood plasma. Okay, examples. So I use the white color to represent the examples of plasma protein. For example, the fibrinogen. Fibrinogen is the example of plasma protein, and then prothrombin. Both of these are used in clotting of blood. Okay, so these are the examples of plasma protein: fibrinogen, prothrombin. It is synthesized by amino acids. Okay, next one. Number 2. For these amino acids, they are also used to synthesize. They are used to synthesize enzymes in the liver. So number 2, amino acids are used to synthesize enzymes in the liver. Okay, so next one, if there is excess amino acid, excess the condition number 3, excess 多出来. Okay, excess amino acids will be converted to urea. And this conversion of excess amino acid to urea is known as the deamination. The process is known as deamination. So I use the different color to represent this process. Okay, I use the yellow color. So this process is known as deamination. Okay, deamination, whereby excess amino acids are converted to urea, and this urea is excreted through the urine. Okay, will be excreted out through the urine. Okay, number 4. Let's say if there is a deficiency of glucose and glycogen in some individuals because of the deficiency of nutrients, lack of nutrients. So especially if lack of the intake of glucose and there is no storage of glycogen. So in this case, the amino acids will be converted to glucose. But the condition is when there is a deficiency in glucose. So for assimilation of amino acids, number 4. So it will be converted to glucose if there is a deficiency of glucose. Okay, so for assimilation in the liver, it can be divided into 2 parts. The first one, which is the assimilation of glucose. Second, assimilation of AA, means amino acid. So now I repeat. So for each, there are 4 points. 4 points, easy for you to remember. Okay, assimilation of glucose. The first one, glucose is used for cellular respiration, number 1, in the liver. Second, if there is excess 多出来, excess glucose, so this excess glucose will be converted to glycogen, number 2. And this glycogen is stored in the liver. So which means for liver, its function is for storage of glycogen. So if the storage of glycogen becomes maximum, so this glycogen will be converted to fat. So 4 points. On the other hand, which is the assimilation of amino acid. The first one, amino acid is used to synthesize plasma proteins in liver. For example, fibrinogen, prothrombin, they are the plasma protein. Second, in the liver, amino acids are used to synthesize enzymes. And third one, the excess excess amino acids will be converted to urea, okay, through a process known as deamination, and this urea will be, okay, excreted through the urine. And number 4, if there is a deficiency of glucose, lack of glucose, the amino acid will be converted to glucose. Okay, so next part, which is the assimilation in the body cells. Okay, so there are 3 cells here, which means I need to describe 3 times. The first one, which is the assimilation of glucose. So I simplify, just glucose will do. Okay, but you know this is understood. Glucose means assimilation of glucose. The second one, which is the assimilation of amino acids. The third one, which is the assimilation of lipids. Okay, so the first one, in the body cells. So these amino acids, okay, glucose and lipids will be transported to the body cells through the bloodstream. Okay, so in the glucose, number 1, glucose is used for cellular respiration. Okay, so glucose, excess glucose, number 2, if there is excess. So excess glucose is converted to, okay, same as in the liver. The excess glucose is converted to glycogen. Okay, and then they are stored in the body cell. Number 3. So stored in what type of cell? Okay, glycogen, the first one can be stored in the liver cells. And the second, they are stored in the muscle cells. Why? Because muscle, we need, okay, glucose for cellular respiration to generate energy for the contraction of muscle. And therefore, our skeletal muscle contains high density of glycogen as a storage of energy in case we need energy. So this glycogen will be converted back to glucose for cellular respiration. So it will be stored in muscle cell. Okay, so I repeat, for assimilation of glucose in the body cell, the first one, it will be used for cellular respiration. If there is excess of glucose, it will be converted to glycogen. And the third one, this glycogen is stored in muscle cells. Okay, so this is assimilation of glucose. Next one, which is the assimilation of amino acids. Okay, the first one, amino acids is used to synthesize protoplasm in the cell. Protoplasm in the cell. Okay, next one, the function of amino acid number 2 is to repair damaged cell. Okay, because we know protein, the function of protein is to repair damaged tissues, repair damaged cells. So the function of amino acids, repair damaged cell. And the third one, okay, number third one, amino acids, they are used to synthesize enzymes and hormones. Okay, so in the previous chapters, we studied about the intracellular enzyme, whereby the cells secrete enzymes for its own use, and also for extracellular enzyme. Okay, the cell synthesize enzyme and excreted out from the cell. So we have 2 types, right? Intracellular enzyme and extracellular enzymes. Okay, and then synthesize of hormones as well. Okay, the next one, which is the assimilation of lipids. Okay, so for lipids, is it used to, number 1, it's used to synthesize cholesterol as well as the phospholipid as the components of the cell. Okay, it's used to synthesize phospholipid. As we know that the plasma membrane consists of the phospholipid bilayer as well as the cholesterol. Okay, boys, don't spell it wrongly. Cholesterol. Okay, so lipids are used to synthesize okay, phospholipid and cholesterol as the components of the plasma membrane. Next one. Number 2. So excess lipid 多出来 okay, will be stored as the adipose tissue. This is one of the connective tissue. Okay, and number 3. So if there is deficiency of glucose, the lipid will be oxidized to generate energy, because we know that fat is a source of energy. Okay, so now I do a brief summary regarding to the assimilation of these nutrients in the body cells. For glucose, okay, you see 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, easy for you. Assimilation in liver, 4 plus 4, 4 plus 4. Assimilation in body cells, 3, 3, 3. Okay, so for amino acids, first one is to synthesize protoplasm, repair damaged cells, synthesize enzymes, hormones. For lipids, 3, to synthesize phospholipid and cholesterol, okay, as the components of plasma membrane. If there is an excess lipid, it will be stored as adipose tissue. And number 3, if there is a deficiency of glucose, lipid is oxidized to generate energy. Okay, so next. Okay, as we know that liver is very important, okay, because for the assimilation, we always talk about the function, we talk about the liver, okay, whereby the assimilation takes place. So in this chapter, we also investigate to study the function of liver. Okay, so for liver, how to remember the function? We use SAD. Okay, now I believe in this during this MCO, most of you will sleep very late. Okay, 1 a.m. 2 a.m. If we sleep late, so this can hurt our liver. It's very bad to our liver. So very bad to our liver. So in Chinese means what? Bad to our, it's very harmful to our liver. So in Chinese we call this as, sorry. In Chinese we call this as 伤肝，很伤我们的肝。Okay, so because if we sleep late, it is very harmful to our heart. 伤肝. So 伤, then you relate to 伤心 sad. Okay, so the function of liver can be divided into SAD. S, the first one. Okay, S stand for synthesis. So liver is involved in the synthesis of bile. Okay, because in the last lesson we studied about the function of liver to produce bile, and bile is stored in the gallbladder, and function of bile is to emulsify the lipid into lipid droplets. Okay, second, also S. Second is S stands for storage. So storage of what? The first one, storage of glycogen. Okay, as we know, excess glucose is converted to glycogen, and glycogen is stored in the liver. Okay, next one. Function of liver is also for the storage of vitamin A, D, E, K. Just now, I just told you, for vitamins, for the water-soluble vitamins, we need to take regularly because it will be excreted out together with our urine. It cannot be stored in the body. But for vitamin A, D, E, K, it can be stored in the body, in our liver. Okay, so for S stands for synthesize the bile. Another S is storage of glycogen, storage of vitamin A, D, E, K. So for A here means assimilation. Okay, assimilation of glucose. What does it mean? Which means excess glucose is converted to glycogen, assimilation. Okay, glucose is used for cellular respiration. This is also assimilation. And the second one, liver is also plays its role in the assimilation of protein. What does it mean? Okay, so just in the previous slides, I've introduced assimilation of proteins in the liver. Okay, which means assimilation of amino acids. Assimilation of amino acids. Assimilation of amino acids. So amino acids is used to synthesize plasma protein. It's used to synthesize enzyme. Okay, so this is assimilation. So the next one, D. D here means deamination. Okay, deamination here is referred to excess amino acid is converted to urea. Okay, and then it will be excreted through our urine. So another D, which means this is detoxification. Okay, let's say if someone drink alcohol or take drugs, or toxic substances. So these toxic substances, drugs, alcohol will be detoxified, in the liver before it enters the blood circulatory system. Okay, so actually this liver, the function of liver actually is a checkpoint for all the substances before they are transported through the blood circulatory system. Okay, so let's say if someone takes drugs, alcohol, so before these substances flow into the blood circulatory system, the liver is a checkpoint. Okay, if you the liver will identify, this substance is very toxic to our body. So first, I need to detoxify the drug first before entering the blood. Okay, so the function of liver, detoxification. So boys, you should remember which organelle is responsible for detoxification, which is the what organelle? Is this a rough endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, or smooth endoplasmic reticulum? So the answer is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So which means the liver cells contains high density of smooth endoplasmic reticulum for the detoxification of drugs. Okay, so these are the functions of liver, SAD, 2S, 2A, and 2D. So next one. So how are we going to maintain liver health? Okay, as I told you just now, we need to sleep early because especially for at this time from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Okay, from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. we need to have a deep sleep because at this time if we are keep awake, so this can cause a very damage to our liver. So the first one, we need to sleep early. Okay, second, avoid alcoholic drinks. As we know that alcohol will be detoxified in the liver. Otherwise, the liver will become very burdened if you take a lot of alcohol. Okay, and another one, how to maintain a liver health, we can take more. This food is the turmeric, which means the huangjiang. Okay, it's very good for our liver. Okay, so next, which is the large intestine. So after absorption of the digested food, so the undigested material will enter the large intestine. So now the intestinal content now will enter the cecum. Okay, boys, where is the part of the cecum? Now I'm going to show you. This is the large intestine. So for this part, okay, from the small intestine, the intestinal content here refer to the undigested material, undigested food, the fiber, and some dead cells. Okay, so intestinal content. Okay, intestinal content here consists of the fiber, okay, and some undigested. Sorry, so boys, so please give me 10 more minutes, okay, for this lesson. Okay, undigested food, and then some dead cells, water, and then bowel pigments. Okay, so these are the substances that enter the large intestine from the small intestine. So these substances, we call them as the intestinal content, include the fiber, because human body does not have cellulase to digest the cellulose, okay, fiber, undigested food, that cells, water, and bowel pigments. So this content will enter the first part of the large intestine, which is the cecum. Okay, so the function of cecum is to secrete mucus. Okay, this is the cecum, the first part. Number one, this is the cecum. So the cecum will secrete mucus, and this mucus will mix with the intestinal content, mix with them. Okay, and then from the cecum, the intestinal content will move along the. This is number two. Ascending colon. Ascending means going up. And then to the transverse colon, horizontally. Number three, transverse colon. And then going down. Sorry, going down. This is number four, which is the descending colon going down. Okay, so the intestinal content will enter the large intestine from the small intestine. The first part they enter, which is the cecum. So the cecum contains mucus. Mucus mixed with the intestinal content and move along the ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon. Okay, now these are the function of the large intestine. So large intestine, another name is colon, C-O-L-O-N. Okay, the first one, which is the absorption of water and vitamins. Water and absorption of water and vitamins. The second function, synthesis of vitamins. Okay, so our body, the large intestine does not produce vitamins, boys. So our large intestine does not produce vitamins. These vitamins are produced by the bacteria present in our large intestines. So these vitamins here are referred to the vitamin B and vitamin K. And then vitamin B and vitamin K, synthesized by the bacteria, are absorbed by the large intestine, and therefore we describe the function of colon as absorption of water and vitamins. Okay, so these vitamins are referred to the vitamins synthesized by the bacteria, which are the vitamins B and vitamins K. Okay, next one, formation of feces. Feces, this is another term, is a better one to replace SHIT, shit. Okay, formation of feces and secretion of mucus. So the function of mucus is to lubricate the movement of feces along the large intestine for lubrication, the function. Okay, so next one. So as the intestinal content move along the large intestine, so water and vitamins, they are absorbed by the large intestine. Okay, as the intestinal content move along from the ascending colon, transverse colon to the descending colon. Okay, so water is absorbed as well as the vitamins are absorbed by the large intestine until it reaches the rectum. So this part is known as the rectum. Okay, in Chinese, Mandarin means 直肠. Okay, so once it reaches the rectum, now the intestinal content no longer intestinal content. They become the feces, which means the shit, S-H-I-T, shit. So since water is absorbed in the large intestine, so now the feces, which is a semi-solid substance, Okay, it's not a liquid but a semi-solid because water is absorbed by the large intestine. So at the end, it becomes a feces and stored in the rectum. So this is the feces, which means the shit. Okay, so this is the last part. So this feces will accumulate, okay, accumulates in the rectum. Once the pressure in the rectum increases because of the accumulation of feces, so you have a desire of going to toilet. So when the pressure of rectum increases, in another term, in Chinese means 急，okay, which means the pressure increases. So now, when the pressure increases, the muscle of the rectum will contract. Sorry, it's not the contact, it's the contract. Okay, sorry, it's wrong spelling. Okay, so muscle, rectal muscle contract. So once contract, okay, so the feces will expel through the anus. So, and this process is known as a defecation. Defecation, in another term in Chinese, in Cantonese means 屙屎啦. Okay, defecation. Okay, so this is how a goat defecate, okay, to expel the feces to its anus. Okay, so here comes to the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you studied about 3 stages in the human digestive system. The first one, okay, which is the absorption of nutrients. So absorption of nutrients takes place in the ileum. Absorption of nutrients takes place in the ileum, and the ileum contains villus. Okay, and beneath the villus there are 2 parts. The first one, which is the blood capillary and the lacteal. Okay, the second process, which is the assimilation. Assimilation is a process whereby the nutrients are used to synthesize complex substances, complex molecules, as well as the structural components. And assimilation takes place in the liver and the body cells. And the last one, which is the defecation. Okay, so boys, before it goes to the end, we have still 2 minutes more. Okay, that is a homework for you. Homework. Okay, I want you to copy these 2 questions in your logbook right now. It's a very simple question, just 2 questions as your homework today. So please get ready, and I will discuss with you the answers with you. Okay, let's think. Okay, so for question number 1, okay, I will upload, I will post this question in our Google Classroom later. But now you spend the time with me, I will give you some idea to answer the questions. Okay, so the first one, there's 2 questions for today's lesson. Explain the effect of overuse of antibiotics. Okay, so if let's say if we have some illnesses, if we go to see doctor will prescribe antibiotics, but overuse of antibiotics will give an effect to the intestinal bacterial population. Hey boys, for our large intestine contains a lot of good bacteria. Okay, so this good bacteria is good for our health. Okay, so let's say if overuse of antibiotics, this will give effect to the intestinal bacteria. So first of all, we need to know, okay, the first point, the function of antibiotics. Okay, this I'll give you the hint how to answer this question. Number 1, you need to find the function of antibiotic. Okay, so for those bacterial infection, doctor will prescribe antibiotic to the patient. Okay, but for viral infection, for example, okay, COVID-19 is caused by virus, and therefore antibiotic does not work to the patient because this is not caused by bacteria. Antibiotic is only used for bacterial infection. So the function of antibiotic is to kill or destroy bacteria. So the function is to kill bacteria or to inhibit the growth of bacteria. So we mentioned the function first. Okay. Second, since we know the function of antibiotics, so this view now because the effect is effect of these antibiotics to the intestinal bacterial population. Okay, for this intestinal bacterial means those good bacteria in our large intestine. Okay, so they are very good for our health. Okay, so just now I told you for in our large intestine contains bacteria and they synthesize vitamin B and vitamin K for our own use. Okay, so what happened to the population? Because they kill bacteria, so the population of the intestinal bacteria decreases. So this is for question number one. Okay, if you want more answer, you can search from internet to answer this question. Okay, so this is question number one. Question number two, explain the effect of deficiency of lactase in the small intestine of some individuals. Okay, effects of deficiency of lactase. So the first one, number one, if there is no lactase, what happened? Which means okay, lactase is an enzyme to hydrolyze, okay, to hydrolyze lactose to glucose and galactose. So which means lactose cannot be hydrolyzed because of the deficiency of lactase. Okay, so let's say if lactose cannot be hydrolyzed, which means this lactose, because it's a disaccharide, they cannot be absorbed by the small intestine, because the small intestine only can absorb the monosaccharide, glucose, galactose, as well as the fructose. But lactose is a disaccharide, and therefore they cannot be absorbed. So lactose, since they cannot be hydrolyzed, they will move to the large intestine. Since cannot be absorbed by the small intestine, so it will move to the large intestine. Okay, so in the large intestine contains bacteria, right? As I told you. So the bacteria will act on the lactose. So the bacteria will act on the lactose. Okay, so once they act on the lactose, will produce gases. Okay, so these gases will cause the individuals have a stomach ache, okay, flatulence, which means 放屁, okay, so it's a discomfort, okay, stomach discomfort. Okay, so next one, once the bacteria act on the lactose, I want you to give what are the products. Okay, and then I want you to find from internet what are the symptoms. Okay, and this situation is known as the lactose intolerance. Okay, which means some people, they cannot drink milk. Why? Because they cannot produce lactase, lack of lactase. So since lack of lactase cannot be hydrolyzed. So this high lactose cannot be absorbed by the small intestine. So they will move to the large intestine, and the bacteria in the large intestine will act on the lactose and produce what products. So this is what I want you to find out. And what are the symptoms to those individuals with lactose intolerance? Intolerance means they cannot tolerate with lactose. They cannot consume lactose. So this is your homework, okay, for question 1 and question 2. So please copy these 2 questions in your logbook. I will post these 2 questions in your logbook, in your Google Classroom, and this is the guideline for you how to answer the question. Okay, so for today's lesson, I will stop here. And next week, same time, 3 p.m. Same next Tuesday, 3 p.m. for our biology lesson. Okay, so I will stop here. If any question, please ask in our Messenger group chat or even in Google Classroom. Okay, see you. Take care. Okay, bye bye. Okay, bye bye. Okay, class end already. If you have a question, you can ask now.